Alright, so today we're going to be putting Microsquirt on a Mazda 2.2 liter. It's pretty similar to the fe3 also, but I'm going to take a mess of harness like this from Microsquirt. These are really nice. This one has got chewed up by the neighbor's dog, but they do have each individual wire marked. Something like this. Got our Microsquirt. This is going to be our grounds. This will be under the dash for the O2 sensor, the two-step. Here's going to be all of our powers going to our fuse box. I've designated fuse box here. 2 relay slots, 6 slots. That gives me 2 for each bank of injectors, the coil pack, and then the fuel pump. All these grounds will just go to a grounding block. These two, this is your power feed into the fuse box. This is your ground feed to this harness. This is going to be the crank sensor. All these are terminated at, or come out for the injectors and the coil pack and the map sensor and all the other sensors here. This is stock plate off the Mazda. I'm going to be running the harness through that. But let's get this fuse box wired in and go from there. Okay, got the fuse box wired. Got our fuel relay, our main relay, main fuse. And we have our coil pack fuse, fuel injectors, fuel pump. We got our ground coming out. And this is for our main relay. This will be our 12 volt switched on for our ECU and our fuse box there. We still have our grounds. This again is our O2 sensor, our sensor ground, and then we have the wires there so that way we can run our two-step. This is everything else that you don't really necessarily need. I just have them heat shrinked off individually and then all together. We'll tie that back. Coming out here with our positive grounds. This is going to feed our coil pack. We got our positive, negative there. And then we have ignition 1 and ignition 2 out from the ECU. This is what's going to control our coils. Our wasted spark coil off of Volkswagen is what we're going to use. It's a tower spark, wasted spark. This is going to be for our injectors. So the blue and green is injector bank 1 and 2. They are individually labeled. We have our air intake temperature sensor. We have our coolant sensor. All these are going to get sensor grounds. These 2 bars are our positives that are going to feed our fuel injectors, and they come all the way to the fuse box. This is for our map sensor. Again, we have our sensor ground, our 5 volt reference, and then we have our map wire there, which they're labeled. We'll put some pins on those to some Deutsch connectors. Same thing with our crank sensor. So there's lots of info online. This is the coil I used. This is my wiring diagram here. Everything's labeled and color coded. Got all the wiring harness ran. Coming through this grommet. Got the injectors. Got our crank. This is the injector harness. The map sensor, all that's hooked up. This is the power and grounds. This will just rub off of the starter. This ground will go to the engine block. With the rest of them over here, still have to take the intake back off so it's not fully plumbed. Got to do the catch can. It's going to mount somewhere around here. It's all ready to rock. We put some fresh oil in there and fluids and stuff after we get the harness going. And in here's a mess, but we got the harness in. So here I have my fuel pump. Since this was carbureted, this was the fuel pump coming in. This is my starter wire. This is gonna be what kicks on the starter. And then we have our wideband coming through this one. And this is a different hole, as you can see. It's where the condensation drain would go if this had AC, but this one does not. ECU is going to mount just like that. This harness will tuck back there. The fuse box is going to mount right here. I have a bracket going, so this fuse box will mount something similar to that. And then we have our harness here for the O2 sensor and our two-step. Still got to run the grounds and everything. I'm going to put this all behind the stereo. Still got a lot of work left to do and wire up, but getting closer. So got the injector harnesses ran here. So just tucked under the manifold. So with these, you're gonna have a positive 12 volts, and then the injector 1 or injector bank 1 would go to injector 1 and 3. I mean 1 and 4, and then 2 and 3 would get the injector bank 2. They all receive 12 volt positive. We got our sensor ground and our air temp sensor wire here for the air temp sensor. Coolant sensor is down off in here. If I can see it. Anyways, it's down in there. Got it wired in. You do have the coolant sensor here for the stock gauges. It is one of these yellow wires here, and one of them goes to the, you can see it there, the stock little gauge. I need to tighten that engine mount back down. Got the map sensor. This map sensor that I got originally is bad, so we went with an older one I had. For test purposes, I'll get another one. They're cheap. Got custom wires made. Have the coil ran. I just have it bolted there. The schematics on the EFI Microsquirt manual gives you some good diagrams for this Volkswagen coil. Got that hooked up. We're running stock fuel pressure regulator. Injectors do need to be high impedance or high Z. You can check the resistance with a voltmeter, but check and make sure that those are in range, otherwise you'll burn up an ECU. That is something I've done. Also, on your spark plugs, make sure they are resistor type. Don't get the non-resisted, otherwise you will burn up the ECU. Otherwise, everything else pretty factory stock. Other than crank, it does have a trigger wheel there. I don't know. Also the 36-1 tooth wheel. It's from Protege also. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Okay. There's the sensor. It's bolted directly to the oil pump. We got our oil feed coming off of a T there. And that's running for our turbo. The only mod I did is the oil return there, welded in the pan. But otherwise, really good to go. Wiring wise, still got a lot to do in here, but we got it cleaned up. Alright, so we got all the wiring. Got it ran through the grommet here for the where the AC would go. Got our fuse box in. That also has the main and the fuel pump relay. Got that tucked here. Got the Microsquirt. Little screw up under the dash. Got our serial there. This is for the tachometer, which it needs a tach adapter still, and then the idle or F idle for either a fan or can do two-step. I got the wideband here. Comes with a lot of extra wire there, so I have it pulled back. Have my 12-volt ignition robbed in. Usually I would rob this when the dash is in. I would rob it from the where the cigar lighter is there in the dash. That's usually where I steal my ignition power, but I robbed it elsewhere. This had an alarm system, so I had to take the dash out and fix a lot of the stock wiring. But got the engine bay tidied up. I mean, still need to clean, but catch can lines are in, boost pipes on, got a filter. I think I'm gonna put this over in here eventually. Need to figure out a shroud. The stock shroud that I had is broke, so there's our little KO3 turbo. Move some parts. Like I said, this has been a wiring mess, but we turn our key on. We got fuel pump. This is going to be ran to a push start button. This is for the boost gauge, and it is running.